day brings new opportunities.
I'm sorry now.
And I was ready to make a statement. How does the saying go? I am woman, hear me roar.
Lately, Disney has been making movies about villains and antagonists, telling their story and explaining what made them choose the dark side. Last summer, we watched the prequel to the animated and feature movies 101 Dalmatians, following the antagonist of the story, Cruella. The movie shows us character development and tells what Cruella did before she became the owner of a fashion house, and why she is so obsessed with a dog fur coat. Right after the movie's release, there were many theories about Cruella's personality. Some people claim she has bipolar disorder, others bet on dissociative disorder, and there are several more versions. Today, we'll analyze the character and try to answer what's wrong with Cruella. But let's get this straight. Cruella is a fictional character. Her character traits are greatly exaggerated. In real life, we are unlikely to meet such people. However, we can still analyze some of her personality traits. Do you want to see more psychological breakdowns? Give us a thumbs up and share the video with your friends. To begin with, let's recall Cruella's story. Watch out, spoilers. Her real name is Estella. At the beginning of the movie, we see her relationship with her mother, a caring and protective woman. However, Estella is no bargain, to say the least. She is a rebel. She fights boys, acts aggressively towards people around her, and turns her school uniform into a mess. In other words, she's the opposite of what we call a decent girl. When Estella behaves aggressively, her mother says that she lets Cruella run wild and tries to save her child from the manifestations of the dark side. When they decide to move to London, they visit the ball of the Baroness, an influential woman, but their journey ends in tragedy. Cruella's mother dies. The little girl finds herself all alone in a big city, meets two friends, and gets engaged in robbery. That's how she earns her living, honing her design skills in her spare time. So now we know that there are two personalities inside this little girl, Cruella and Estella. When one of them dominates, we see the appearance of the character changing. After her mother's death, Estella takes control. She is modest and insecure, hiding her real hair color, the thing that makes her stand out the most. She finds friends, pursues her goals, yet Estella's efforts and skills are not enough to achieve more. That's why, when she meets the Baroness, almost forgotten, Cruella rips the door of consciousness off the hinges. Being ruthless and uncompromising, Cruella builds her career and becomes the rock star of the fashion world. However, the audience notices something's off about Cruella. She forgets about her friends, acts tough and cruel. But why? The first answer that comes to mind is that she's struggling with bipolar affective disorder. But that's not entirely true. As a matter of fact, bipolar disorder is characterized by two alternating stages, mania and depression. During the first one, people are too active. They can go weeks without eating or sleeping. They are chaotic, even though they seem productive. The depression stage includes low mood and decreased activity levels. It seems that the stages correspond to Cruella and Estella, but at the same time, the stages of bipolar disorder alternate, and the patient requires medical treatment. It helps to go into remission, but a person cannot maintain one stage for a long period of time. The character had lived many years hiding behind the mask of Estella, and she wasn't depressed at the time, so our first guess was wrong. Bipolar disorder is often perceived as a disorder when a person's behavior and mood change dramatically, but now we know that it's not quite right. The next possible diagnosis is that the main character had a multiple personality, or dissociative identity disorder, to be precise. You can see how this disorder is manifested in Split. The character has 23 personalities of different genders and ages. By the way, the movie is based on a true story, which also was the basis of The Minds of Billy Milligan. However, there is a striking difference between Cruella, Estella, and Kevin. the ability to control different personalities. Kevin lacks such control. His personality changes depending on the situation. At the same time, his real personality is locked deep inside, and the defense mechanisms don't let it out. Cruella, on the other hand, is in control of her personality. She can switch from Cruella to Estella and vice versa in the blink of an eye. It depends on whether she wants to show certain personality traits that she needs in a given situation or not. Throughout the movie, we see how hard it is for Cruella to cope with her ambivalent nature. But if she's not struggling with mental disorders, then why is she facing so many difficulties? From a very young age, Cruella was taught to suppress her emotions and behave in accordance with accepted patterns in society. Such a mechanism makes people suppress part of their personality, but it does not help solve the problem. As a result, it hinders socialization. Such a mechanism doesn't help work with emotions and get rid of destructive personality traits. Cruella serves as a great example of a person who cannot get along with themselves and accept each and every personality trait. As an adult, she struggles with acting in stressful situations. It leads to impulsive actions and ruined social ties. If you want to learn more about how personality is formed and where the fine line between a normal personality and a pathological one lies, join our course, Clinical Psychology. The link is in the description box. Cruella's personality is ambiguous, but her constantly changing self-esteem may hint at narcissistic personality disorder. Narcissists tend to have an unstable self-esteem. They always balance between feeling that they are the best and the worst. They are prone to self-doubt. Cruella demonstrates other traits that proves she has a narcissistic disorder. Her unstable self-esteem manifests in the need to feel admired by others. When her friends stop praising her and point out her flaws, Cruella stops talking to them. Praise isn't the only thing that makes narcissists feel better. They like humiliating others and looking perfect in comparison. Cruella believes she is the best of all and emphasizes that her talent is one of a kind. She is obsessed with dreams about her greatness and unparalleled achievements. Still, despite all that, Cruella's self-esteem is fragile. When she fails, she gives up and seems ready to turn back into Estella. She feels so miserable that world admiration is the only thing that keeps her afloat and gives her the strength to take revenge. Narcissists like to take advantage of people. They are unlikely to have friends as they surround themselves with people who admire them and who they can use. Cruella's friends are nothing but her minions. She tells them what to do, and they follow her orders no matter what. She doesn't take no for an answer because she couldn't care less about other people's emotions. The only thing that is of value to her is the achievement of her goal. Jasper and Horace think and care about Estella, but cannot figure out what happened to their real friend. The movie reveals all Cruella's secrets, and at the end, we learn that she is the Baroness's daughter. Their mutual hatred is legit, as they are both narcissists who don't tolerate competition. Such people cannot stand someone who is just like them. They see it as a competition, and, as we've already mentioned, there's only one person to admire, so they do whatever it takes to destroy the enemy. The movie raises a complex issue of whether we inherit personality traits or not. Since a person has a multi-layered structure shaped by hereditary and acquired characteristics, scientists still cannot come to a conclusion on what is more important, genes or upbringing. In the case of narcissistic personality disorder we see in the movie, heredity plays an important role. Even though Estella was raised by another woman who loved and cared for her, her genetic predisposition comes to the fore and takes over. Even though the movie is a work of fiction, we can still appreciate how developed the characters are. The narcissistic personality is shown very well as the idea of inheriting traits. In the end, the main character finds a balance between her personalities, Estella and Cruella. On the one hand, she takes the best from Cruella: ambition, determination, and willingness to achieve more. Estella, on the other hand, gives her empathy and the ability to make friends. This feature sets her apart from her biological mother and gives her a happy ending. Like the Baroness, Cruella strives to be the best in the fashion world, but she also takes into account the importance of support from the loved one. In this video breakdown, we have discussed bipolar, dissociative, and narcissistic disorders. It's just a mere part of the mental disorders we see in the movies. If you're interested in this topic, join our video course, Clinical Psychology. You will examine the main personality types and find the fine line between normal and pathological personalities. The link is in the description box. Did you like this video? Subscribe to the channel and let us know what you think about Cruella in the comments. Did you like her transformations?